I wanted to take the character of Superman and just focus on a piece of him that we haven't necessarily seen before. I also wanted to take some elements from the comics that I fell in love with as a kid. You know, when I opened up my first Superman comic when I was 3 or 4 years old, it didn't have, you know, the story of his landing on Earth. It had a world where he had superhero friends and giant monsters and flying dogs and robots and all this magical stuff. So I wanted to create that world around him while also focusing on a part of his personality that we hadn't yet seen. It was important. You know, I've worked with other couples on screen before that were good actors individually but didn't have a chemistry. And you can make something of it, but you have to really work at it and force it. It's like, you know, forcing a square peg into a round hole. So I wanted to make sure that the on-screen chemistry was easy.
And we got thrown together. It was a little bit like the, you know, that Spider-Man meme. There were 3 of us,
there were
and
3
three
Clarks
of them,
and 3
and we
Loises
were all
walking
wearing
around.
the same outfits, like looking at each other. But it was really, really warm. That's what was so special about it. It felt wonderfully old-fashioned, and it wasn't competitive. It was just about, you know, chemistry is that thing that you can't put your finger on and you can't really create. You either have it or you don't. And thankfully, none of it was up to us. We had James at the helm looking at us and going, these two have got the chemistry I'm searching for. And
for instance, Nick Hoult, who everybody knows, you know, auditioned for Superman. He actually had really great chemistry with another actor who was, you know, auditioning for Lois. That wasn't Rachel. Their chemistry was better. But when he and Rachel read together, it was like they were both such great actors. It was like the best acting in a way, but like they didn't have that spark in the same way. But when David and Rachel came out, they had this, you know, somehow her being so controlled and forward, and he's a little bit more chaotic and loose in his way of going about things. That created that magic just in the way they, you know, were as people. And, you know, you never know what that chemistry is. Oftentimes people hate each other off screen, and they work together well on screen. And Rachel and David don't hate each other, but they're better on screen than off. One of the things I loved about DC Comics growing up was that you could have these different comic book series with different writers and artists that, you know, portrayed them in completely different ways with completely different feelings to them. And I don't want to have what is thought of as a house style. That's not what I'm into. I want to have a bunch of different stories within a connected universe. And I find that then when you see Peacemaker and Superman together, like they're more different than, you know, it's like coming from 2 different universes. I've felt pressure all along. Like that's been difficult. But today, I mean, I have to say, you know, now I'm starting to see people see the movies, so I'm feeling pretty good. Like it's pretty fun. I'm seeing the effect the movie has on people. And I try my best to sort of, frankly, detach myself from all of that, because I'm about making the movies. Once the movie's done, it's somebody else's business. It's not mine.